Good morning, everyone, and this is lecture number 12, Motion Under Gravity. We were doing questions of motion under gravity, and last class we had discussed some questions where we had discussed what happens when a body is dropped from a height. Do you remember this? Yes or no? When the body is dropped from height, we had seen some equations, and we had seen how those equations can be used. In today's class, we'll do the opposite of that. What do you mean by opposite of that? What do you mean by opposite? Instead of dropping the ball from the top of the tower, what are we going to do is we are going to throw it from ground, and we are going to throw it up from the ground. So we come to our case number 2, and what would be our case number 2? The first one was case number 1, body was dropped from the top of a tower. Case number 2 would be when the body is thrown up. So write the heading, case number 2, body is thrown up, and we will see what are the similarities and what are the difference between the two cases here. In fact, I would be glad if you can tell me what are the similarities and what are the differences between the two cases. So I hope you have written the heading, and you can see a small diagram also where someone is throwing the ball up. Everyone understand this? The question is, the scenario is pretty simple. We have thrown the ball up, and then we are supposed to find out what all things are unknown, and we should know what all things are known. A body is thrown up. Tell me what all things would be known to us. What all things, when I throw the body up, generally what all things are known to us? We will know this initial velocity u, yes or no? This is the velocity with which we throw the ball up, yes or no? Anyone understands this? Please raise your hands so that I know that u would be known to us. Generally, I'm talking generally. There can be a question where u is unknown, but generally u is known. So u is known. What else is known? One thing is always known, my dear friends, and that is acceleration is equal to minus g. Why I'm writing it as minus g? Always remember that I am writing it as minus g because it is always downwards. So the second thing that is known to me in pink is that the acceleration is constant and acceleration is minus g. Minus means downwards. What is the third thing that is not known directly to us, but it is known indirectly to us? What is the third thing that is not known directly, but it is known indirectly to us? Look at the diagram. Tell me, if I call this point the highest point as point A and the lowest point as point B, there is something that we know not directly but indirectly. What is that thing that we know indirectly? It is this. What is this? This A happens to be the highest point. The point A happens to be the highest point. So when it is at the highest point, what happens to the velocity of this ball?
Zero, sir.
Why it has to be zero? Because if it is not zero, it will keep on going up. Yes or no? Therefore, at the highest point, not directly but indirectly, we know that velocity has to be zero. These are the three known things, directly or indirectly, that I have painted in pink. Now, what are the things that are not known and which a question might ask us to find out? The first thing is the maximum height. how high it reaches. The second thing is how much time it takes to go up. These are the two things that are not known to us. Do we understand this? How are we going to find it? The thing is very simple. We are going to apply our equation. What is the first equation that we know? V is equal to U
Is 80.
plus AT. What are the things that we know? We know that V, final
Velocity.
velocity, is 0. We know that the acceleration is minus G, and we know the value of U is plus U. Why I'm writing it as plus U? Because it is thrown
Upwards.
from here. My dear friends, you can calculate how much time it will take to go up, and the time it will take to go up from equation number 1 you will get as U by G. Do we understand? U by G, that is the time it will take to go up. This formula T is equal to U by G is derived from equation number 1, which is here right now. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Okay. Now, if I come to the second equation, the second equation is displacement is equal to ut plus half a t square. What are things are known to me? What are unknown? Displacement will be taken as plus h. Do you understand? From lowest point to highest point. U is now known to me. U is plus u. Time is now known to me. Time is u by g. Acceleration is known to me, minus g. Do you understand this? If I put all these values in this equation, if I put all these values in this equation, if I put all these values in this equation, I will get the second value of time. And if you can remember all these things, you can do questions very quickly. Time will come like this, root over 2h by g, which is the second formula for time, which is given here. Do we understand this? Now, you can write this formula in a different way. You can write this formula in a different way, my dear friends. You can write this height h as half g t square. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. You can write this formula in a different form. H is equal to half gt square. So far, so good. Let us use the third equation, equation number 3. Remember, all these formulae, all these so-called shortcuts, whatever we are making, they are coming from either equation number 1 or equation number 2 or equation number 3. I'm not using any magical trick. The third equation is v square is equal to u square plus 2a into the displacement. If I put the value, I know v is 0, I know u is plus u, I know a is minus h. If I put all these values, I will get this one. U square is equal to 2gh. Yes or no? No, yes. Or I can find out u from here. I can write, my dear friends, u is root over 2gh. Yes or no? Do we understand this? This is the formula in pink that is given here. We understand this? Raise hands will give me more confidence that we understand this. Now you can write this formula in a different way. Instead of writing u as function of h, I can write h as a function of u, my dear friends. So I can write h as u square by 2g. This is the formula, my dear friends, that you see put over here. Is it clear to everyone in the class what we have done? Yes or no? Now, if you look very closely, at all the formulae, number one, if you look very closely at all the formulae, you will find a striking resemblance between two gentlemen, between the two cases. I'll give you a minute to note down the formulae. Once you are done, please tell me that you are done so that I can move on with my thoughts. I'll give you 1 minute, 2 minutes. Once you are done, please let me know. Have you noted it down, beta? Yes? Everyone? Okay. Now look. Here was your case number 1 and here is your case number 2. Do you find any resemblance between the two cases? Do you find any resemblance between the two cases? Are they same or are they different? Case number 1, case number 2. Are they same or are they different?
Sir, in case number 1, initial velocity is 0, and in case number 2, final velocity is 0, sir.
Think about it in this way. Think about it. Think about what is the velocity at the highest point and think about what is the velocity at the lowest point. Now think. See, there is no initial point, there is no final point. It depends on what I imagine, right? Think about the lowest point and the highest point. Lowest point and highest point. Lowest point and the highest point. Lowest point and the highest point. Yes, tell me, is there any difference between the two? At highest point, my dear friends, look, tongue. The only thing is, in first case, we call it initial velocity. In second case, we call it final velocity. Doesn't matter. The velocity at the highest point is 0. Yes or no? No or yes? Do we understand this? That means if you remember any one of the case, the other case is already done. Look at the second thing. At the lowest point, the velocity is root 2 gh. At the lowest point, the velocity is root 2 gh. At the lowest point, velocity is root 2 gh. Any difference? The only difference I can see is this velocity is in the upward direction and this velocity is in the lower direction. Do we understand this, or this has gone above our head saying bye, 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 I'm going? Do we understand this? Yes or no?
Sir.
Pakka na? Look at the time, my dear friends. T is root over 2h by g. T is root over 2h by g. Any difference? Absolutely none. Do you understand? Here in this case, you find T as u by g. Here in this case, you find T as v by g. But here, the value of u and b are both same. Yes or no? So both these cases are absolutely carbon copies of each other. Do we understand this or no? So they are no different cases. They are the same case, my dear friend. They are the same case. The only thing that is different is our way of seeing it. In case number one, we are calling initial velocity at the top. We are calling the top velocity as initial velocity and down velocity as the final velocity. In case number two, I am calling the down velocity as initial velocity, the velocity at the bottom, and the topmost point I call it final, nothing else. Just because in first case, motion is starting from the top. In second case, motion is starting from the bottom. Do we understand this, or this has gone above our head saying bye, 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 sir, don't be worried, I'm gone. Tata. Understand this? Understand one thing also very clearly. In this case, this is the time taken to go down, TD. In this case, this is the time taken to come up. Do we understand this? Now you'll say, sir, what is the difference? In one case, it is going up. In second case, it's coming down. Now, in this case, case number 2, it is going to go up, but it is also going to come down. Do we understand this? So in this particular case, there are two times. Time taken to go up and time taken to come down, because it is not going to remain in air. It will not keep hanging in air. In that case, in case number 1, we only had time taken to come down. Do we understand this? Okay. Now, time taken to go up, we have already found out. Now, what is the time it will take to come down? Now, while it is coming down, this motion is now the carbon copy of motion number 1. Yes or no? When it is coming down, it is the carbon copy of the motion in case A. So time taken to go up will be equal to time taken to come down, and that is equal to u by g. If I call, what is the total time it remains in air? What is the total time it remains in air? What is your answer? That is known as time of flight. The time it is in air. What is the total time it remains in air? What is the total time this gentleman remains in air? That will be equal to time taken to go up plus time taken to come down, 2u by g. That is the only difference that I see. In case number 2, there are two motions. One is up and the other one is down. In case number 1, there was only one motion, only down. Do we understand this, or this has gone above our head saying bye bye? I'm going. Tata. Note this down. Both the questions, both the cases are carbon copies of each other. If you remember one, you should be able to make out the other one. So you just have to remember any one. Everyone got this? Huh? We got this? Note it down.
Sir.
Note it down, please.
Done, sir.
Everyone done, sir?
Yes, sir.
Shall I give you a question, sir, then? So, let us solve this question and see how we are going to do this. This is a question. A body is thrown vertically up with a velocity of 15 meter per second. What is the maximum height attained by the body? The value of G is given as 10 meter per second square.
Sir, A.
Everyone got this? Well done. How are we supposed to do this? Maximum height, you can straight away put the formula of maximum height, yes? U square by 2G, yes or no, bacha? What is the value of U square? U square is 15 square divided by 2 into G is 10, and you can get your answer straight away. We understand it? Everybody got the answer, yes or no? Everyone is happy that we got the answer? If you are happy and you understand what is to be done, remember you might not get a question which is straight away finding the maximum height. You will get different variations of the same question. Let us see a different variation of the same question. Remember, all the formulae will not be straight away asking you what is the time and what is the maximum height. They will put questions in different way. Remember, whatever question comes, there are only three equations. We might not need all the three. We might need only one of those. A particle is thrown vertically upwards. Its velocity at half of the maximum height is 10 meter per second. What is the maximum height attained by it? Yes, my dear friends.
B, sir.
A particle is thrown vertically up. Okay, I have the answer B. Okay, anyone else? Well done. We're getting answers. No matter whether the answers are correct or not. The important point is that we are trying those questions. That is what I need from you guys. That you must try the question and try. Anyone else got 10 meters? That is correct, obviously. Anyone else? How do you find out the maximum height? The velocity at half of the maximum height is given. Okay. You can draw a simple diagram if you want to. You can draw a simple tower. This is point A, this is point B. I throw it from here with a velocity u that I don't know. Then it reaches the maximum height, let us say h. I have to find out this h. If I have to find out this h, I just need to know u square by 2g. Yes or no? G I already know. The only thing unknown is u. If I can find out u, my job is done. Now the question is, how will I find out u? Something else must be given in the question. So what is given in the question is that when it is half of its maximum height, the velocity is 10 meter per second. So I make a point, let us say C. The height from here to here is given as h by 2. And I'm given that the velocity at point C, and I'm looking at the upward journey, the velocity at point C, V, is 10 meter per second. With this data, I must be able to find out the value of u. How I'm going to find out the value of u from this data? So u is unknown, h by 2 is unknown, and v is known. Which equation should I use? U, v, and h, height are given. Which equation should I use? I must use equation number 3, yes or no? So I make the equation from A to C. Which equation I am going to use? V square is equal to u square plus 2 times A into delta R. Now there are different ways in which you can use this, which you can do. V square, what is the value of V square? It is 10 square, yes or no? V square is 10 square is equal to, here I know h is u square by 2g. I am not supposed to find u. Actually, I'm supposed to find h. So what I'll do is I will write u square as 2gh. So in case of u square, I can write 2gh. Is everyone getting my point? Plus 2 times acceleration is minus g. Acceleration is minus g, and the displacement here is h by 2 in the upward direction. The value of g is given as 10. You just put the value of g here in this equation, and the other thing is h. You must get the value of h by putting the value of g as 10 in this equation. Can you tell me what is the value of h coming as? Straight away you will get the value of h. You don't have to find the value of u square. It is just an intermediate step. I have eliminated that step.
10,
Yes,
sir.
h is equal to 10 meters, and that happens to be the correct answer. H is equal to 10 meters. That is the correct answer, and that is how you are supposed to do this question. Do we understand?
Substituting values.
Yes. You got this, everyone? Pakka? I'll give you 1 minute to note this down. Once you are done, please let me know so that we can move ahead with the next question. Remember, the more the number of questions that you do, the better are your chances that same question would come in the exam and you would be able to solve it. That is why we do a lot of questions. That is why we do a lot of questions. If you're done, please let me know. Everyone got this? Okay. Here comes the next question. A particle, when thrown, moves such that it passes the same height at 2 and 10 seconds. Oops. What is the height? I'll give you 2 minutes to think about this. So, any idea how we are supposed to do this? Anyone? Anyone has any idea how this is done? How are you going to do this? Any idea? Tell me. No one?
Sir, B.
B, 2G. How did you get it? Well done. How did you get it?
Sn is equal to U plus A by 2, 2n minus 1 formula.
What? Where do you apply that formula, beta? That
Sir,
is the
first I have taken n as 2 and second time I have taken n as 10. So after the subtracting that both, I got that.
when you put that formula of Sn. What is that formula for? That is a displacement travel. That is a displacement in nth second. Displacement in the second. Displacement in the 10th second. Does the question say it like this?
Yes, sir.
Is it is the language of the question like this? No, no, sir.
No, no, sir.
That means that is the problem. Okay, but well tried. Trial is important. If you don't try, you don't understand what is going to happen. Let us take a case, a sample case, and that is why this question was given to you. Let us assume that it takes 2 seconds to go up. I'm just taking the assumption of one body which takes 2 seconds to go up. So at 1 second, it would be here. Yes or no? Let us say somewhere, not exactly middle, somewhere. And at 2 seconds, it would be here. Then it will start its downward journey, right? So at 2 seconds, it is here. The upward journey is given in red, and the downward journey, let us say, is given in green. So at 1 second, it is going up. At 2 seconds, it is at rest. So velocity is 0. Now it starts its downward journey. At 2 seconds, it is here. Do you know where it would be at 3 seconds? Where it would be at 3 seconds? It would be at the same point, but now moving downwards. If the velocity here is v1 upwards, the velocity here will be again v1 but downwards. If I add these two times, I will get 4 seconds. That 4 seconds is the total time of flight. Let us take another example. This time it takes 3 seconds to go up. So I have one point C, I have one point D. At 1 second it is here, at 2 seconds it is here, at 3 seconds it is here. Upward journey. Velocity v1 upwards, velocity v2 upwards, and this velocity is 0. Let us look at the downward journey. At 3 seconds it will be here. At 4 seconds,
D, sir. Yeah, D.
but it will be going
Downwards.
at 5 seconds.
C.
If you add any these two, how much it is giving you?
6 seconds, sir.
which is the total time of flight. Yes or no? 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3. Do we understand this? It has gone above our head saying bye bye, I'm going. One more case. Let us say it takes 4 seconds. A, B. I have C, I have D, I have E. They are not equal. Remember, they are not equal. They are not equal distances. 1 second it is here, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and 4 seconds. Upward journey. V1 up, V2 up, V3 up. This velocity is 0. Let us look at a downward journey, my dear friends. 4 seconds it is here. 4 plus 4, 8. Total time of flight. At 5 seconds, where it's going to be? It's going to be here. 6 seconds, it will be here. 7 seconds, it will be here. The only thing is, it is going to go down, my dear friends. If you add any these two, you will get the total time of flight. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No or yes? Remember, upward and downward, they are same carbon copies. I told you na carbon copies? Yes or no? Carbon copies. Carbon copies. Do we understand this? In this case, what is going to happen? Can you now solve it? In this case, what is going to happen? How much is the total time of flight? Tell me, tell me, tell me. 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 Fast, fast, fast. Fast, fast, fast. Fast, fast, fast. Yes, my dear friends, I'm waiting.
10 seconds, sir.
D.
How did you get D? Tell me, how did you get D? Guess? Okay. So in this case, the total time of flight is going to be 10 plus 2, 12 seconds. Do we understand this? 12 seconds would be the time of flight. Now will it go up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Ta 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 ta, 6 seconds. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do we understand this, or this has gone above our head saying bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye? I'm going. Total time of flight is 5 seconds. So what is the time taken to go up? Time taken to go up is half. Time taken to go up is half of this. That is 6 seconds. And once I know the time taken to go up, I can write it as root over 2h by g. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Do we understand this, my dear friends? Yes or no? Now you can easily calculate the value of h. And what is the value of h coming? What is the value of h coming now? I think it will come as 18g. There is a misprint in this. Probably the option would be like this. 10g, 12g, 15g, 18g. Do we understand this? This what has gone above what it's saying bye-bye? Add any two. Tung tung, tung tung, pung pung, tung tung, pung pung, pung pung. Yes or no? Bye-bye. Okay. Give you 2 minutes to note it down. Please remember it. Remember, when you throw something up, it will cross the same height twice. Once while going up, once while coming down. And in both the times, the speeds will be same, but velocities will be different. In one case, the velocity is up. In second case, the same speed, but velocity down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and so on. Did we understand this? I don't see conviction in your result. Do we understand this? Yes or no? Okay. Remember, make things simple and then try to understand them. Note it down so that we can move on to the last case. Do we understand this? Yes or no? No, yes. Have you written it down? Here comes the next case. And the next case is the only case. We mix the two. We go up at a height and throw it. Now you can throw it upwards or you can throw it downwards. Now what happens when you throw it upwards? What happens when you throw it upwards? And I'll just give you a brief. When you throw it upwards, it will go up till a point C. Yes or no? No, yes. At the point C, what will be the velocity, which will be the highest point? It will be 0. Yes or no? Okay. It will reach up till point C. At point C, its velocity is going to be 0. Let me call this height as h1. Let me call this time as T1. At point C, the velocity is 0. Now, you can, if this question is asked, it will first go up, then it will come down and it will reach ground with the velocity v. Do we understand this? This is the velocity with which it will reach ground. Now, they may ask you 2 or 3 questions. What is the height h1? The height it reaches. Can you tell me what is the height h1? What is the height h1? How will you get the height h1? H1 will be equal to u square by 2g. Do we understand this? Because this is a simple case. If you just take this thing off, cut this out, this is simple. Body thrown up, yes or no? No or yes? If I ask you the value of T1, my dear friends, T1 will be equal to U by G, yes or no? Cut that tower off. This is just motion thrown from ground. Now they may ask you what is the value of V and what is the total time. These are the only 2 questions they can ask. Value of total time and the value of V. To find out that, they are not going to ask you H1 and T1. This is just you. To find out the total time T and to find out the value of V, what do you do, my dear friends? You make the equation from B to A directly. You make the equation from B to A directly. What are the equations from B to A directly? Equation number 1, V is equal to U plus AT. Do we understand this? This V is the final velocity, my dear friend. This U is the initial velocity here. This T is the total time. Do we understand this, or it has gone above our head saying bye. I am going, I am gone. You understand this? You can apply the second equation as well if you want. Second equation will be like this. Delta R is equal to UT plus half AT square. Oh, I forgot the value. I forgot A. How much is A? How much is A? Acceleration, my dear friends. How much is A? Huh?
G.
Minus G. G is always downward, so it is minus G. Please remember that, my dear friends. Okay, let us talk about the displacement. What is the displacement here?
Height.
It's sir.
Displacement is how much?
H.
It's not H, my dear friend. It is minus H. Why it is minus H? Why it is minus H? Because it is coming from B
Downwards.
Downwards.
to A. B to A. Negative, downwards. Do we understand this, or does it go on above us saying bye bye? I'm going, don't stop me. What is U? U is U. And this U is U. Is it positive or is it negative? Huh? Is U positive?
Positive.
Okay, thank God. This T is T, which is the total time. What is this A?
Time.
Huh? A is always A. A is always A. You can also use the third equation, my dear friends, if you want. V square is equal to U square plus 2 times A into delta R. Now I've told you so many times what is what. This is this, dung, dung, dung. This is this, dung, dung, dung. This is this, which is equal to this, which is equal to this, which is equal to that. This is this, this is this, this is this, this is this. Oh, this is this, which is also this. Do we understand this, or this has gone above our head saying bye, 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 bye? I'm going bye, 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 bye. Oh, this T. This T is also this T. All T are T. I hope you understand what I have drawn here. Yes or no? Well, my dear friend, that brings us to an end of this class. I hope you have understood this. You might get a question where instead of ball thrown from the ground, ball may be thrown from the tower. And please be careful about the equation that you make. Wishing you all the luck. I'll do one problem on this in the next class, and then we'll move on to the next topic, which is graph. So we'll do 1 or 2 problems, and then we will move ahead in life. I hope you have understood the class, enjoyed it. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. May God bless you all. Have you noted this down, everyone? Okay, then see you tomorrow.
1 minute.
Take care. Have a nice day, beta.